know where you are. And of course, for those who joined the show last time, thank you very much for joining. The last episode we did was on gender reveals, and yeah, it was just an episode that I just expressed how much I don't like gender reveals, and I went over some incidents that actually happened that has cost lives and property damage. Because gender reveals, it started off with something simple as a birthday cake. You cut into it and it was a particular color. Now, people got way out of, over the top with airplanes and pyrotechnics and just other things that is just so unnecessary. So I did a whole episode on that, had a couple of my co-hosts on there, and, they came at like the very end tail of gender reveals, and then we just spent the rest of the time just talking bullshit on the show or whatever. So it was a lot of fun. Anyway, it is Friday where I'm at. Thank goodness for that. It is Friday. Where you guys at? It's Thursday. But don't worry, you'll get to the weekend eventually. But over here, it's Friday. It's 8 o'clock at night. So that's always fun. I got no major plans this weekend. It's supposed to rain quite a bit, I think, tomorrow afternoon where I'm at. And then we just got a couple of errands running, but that's about it. Nothing too crazy. It's going to be a simple weekend, I guess. Nothing crazy. But getting right into it, today's episode was inspired by straight writer's block. So at times when I try to think of a topic for this show, it's kind of hard sometimes. The inspiration, there was really no inspiration. And sometimes I have to think deep or look online and stuff like that for a topic. And I, was like, damn, what can I talk about? I need to let the people know what tonight's show is going to be. And then it just popped up. I was like, cartoons. But not just any old cartoons, because I've done a show, and it's one of my top episodes, of the best 90s cartoons. But I've never done a show on what is considered the best adult cartoons. We tend not to really think about that. I think most times we think cartoons, we think it's for kids. But I personally think that cartoons has always been for adults, because if you go way back to the golden age of animation, the dawn of animation, we're talking 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, with the level of violence some of these cartoons had, these cartoons were never for kids, ever. But I think around the 50s, well, actually the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I think cartoons started leaning towards like more for children, and into the 90s. And then there was a resurgence of adult-oriented cartoons. And in our time, I think one of the first is not South Park. It was The Simpsons. So when The Simpsons dropped in '89, it was considered a very adult cartoon. It was like the South Park of the early '90s, late '80s, because they had themes on there that people, like even parents were like, yo, my kids cannot watch The Simpsons because it was not on, the jokes and the punchlines and the writing was nowhere on the level of South Park. But at the time, especially on local TV like Fox, it was a bit dicey with The Simpsons. Now looking at The Simpsons, I guess you could still say it's kind of like an adult cartoon. But now you got things that have, you have shows that have raised the bar quite a bit. Like you got Family Guy, you got Big Mouth, and of course South Park. Right, so tonight's episode, I'm going to talk about, I have a list pulled up. We're going to talk adult cartoons, right? And you guys can comment below, what is your favorite adult cartoon you're watching right now? What do you really consider adult cartoon? Like, what show would qualify? What would the show need to be considered an adult cartoon? Because I look at The Simpsons now, and I'm like, I guess, because you never hear kids like, oh, I want to watch The Simpsons. It's always adults that, I think for the most part, watch The Simpsons. So I guess, quintessentially, it is a adult cartoon, I guess you could say, more or less. But let's see if I can invite a few people on the show. Maybe, maybe not. Again, it's a whole different time zone where they at, so my main audience. But anyway, let's get right into it tonight. I have a list pulled up, right? This was... let's see if I can open that up. This is on Collider.com, published back in January. What they considered 60 of the best adult animated shows ever. I mean, we're talking 60. Oh, there's Captain James. What's up, everybody? Like, Captain James, my executive producer and co-host and co-creator of the TikTok version of this show, has just joined the show, and it's I know it's early as fuck over there, but if it wasn't for this dude, I would not have this show on here. Yeah, I know you're at work. I can tell. It's got to be like, what, 5, 6 o'clock over there? So I know you're at work. I'm not. Oh, man. But, hey, welcome, Captain James. Hey, tonight we're talking adult cartoons. What is considered the best adult cartoon? And I appreciate the likes. Share the show. Let's get it going. All right, so Collider wrote an article on January 15th of the 60 best animated series for adults ranked from 60 to... Dora is not a fucking adult cartoon, James. Come on now. Dora the Explorer, my God. I need to do a show on 2000s cartoons because I'm telling you, sideline, when Dora was out, man, let me tell you, even high schoolers in my school was quoting Dora the Explorer shit. Like that little kid was everywhere. I swear, big time. This new 3D Dora shit, I don't think it flies the same. But anyway, this was written by Hannah Saab, Tom Moore, and Diego Pineda Pacheco. Try saying that 3 times fast. They wrote an article detailing 60. Now, I'm going to be fair with you. I did not look at the entire list, so I truly don't know what is number one or what they consider number one on this list. So please, I have no idea. All right, now it says animation has become a tool to break past the limitations of live action in delivering more mature content in gore, action, and comedy, as well as some darker depictions of adult themes. Even on a small screen, there have been plenty of animated series that have proven that animated content can be for adults. Again, I personally think cartoons was always for adults until roughly, the 60s, 70s, and 80s kind of changed the script. All right, so it goes right into the list. There's no sense of reading all the rest of the shit. I think it's pretty cut and dry. All right, now some of these shows, I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't even know they exist, and I don't watch them. But you guys can comment below. Let me know what you think of some of these shows. Join in on the live and let me know what you think is what is your favorite adult animated series. Comment below. All right, they got number 60. The Boys presents Diabolical. Now, I've never seen the live action show of The Boys. I keep hearing about it, but I don't know, like something I could get into. But they did come out with an animated series co-created by Seth Rogen. And that came out in 2022. It comes in at number 60 to kick off the list. It says, taking advantage of the massively popularity that their adult superhero show, The Boys, had garnered, Prime Video released the animated anthology series taking place in the world of the series right before the release of Season 3. This was Diabolical, comprised of a collection of short stories that expanded the universe of The Boys. Each of the show's episodes has a unique animation style and a fresh sense of humor. Again, people, if you watch The Boys, this is probably what you will watch, but since I've never seen the show, right, I will not probably watch this either at all. Number 59, Brickleberry. Now, I heard of this cartoon for a little bit. It didn't last very long. It only lasted 3 years, from 2012 to 2015. I believe it came on Comedy Central. So, Comedy Central is dominated by South Park. Now, they've had their series come and go, blase, but South Park ain't leaving Comedy Central no time soon. But anyway, Comedy Central slapstick satire Brickleberry is about a group of forest rangers facing the shutdown of their national park. When a new ranger arrives to help them transform the park and save it, it's a crude, shamelessly vulgar comedy that fans of that kind of humor are sure to find hilarious, full of color, character, and creative gags. Sounds like my kind of show. Because if you guys know me, you know the show, you know the content, I'm a dark humorist, and I laugh at crude, toilet humor type shit that offends people when it shouldn't offend people. Like, we're talking taboo type shit. That is my type of comedy. I've never sadly seen Brickleberry. I never sat there and watched it. I don't know why. Maybe I might take a spin around the block and try to, probably watch an episode or two, but I've never seen this, so I can't quite connect. But if it's anything like South Park, I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be okay. All right. Appreciate it, Captain James. We got to get more people on the show, man. I know this is one thing I don't like about when I do these episodes at this time where I'm at. It's just all my people are not around. But tomorrow when I do the roundtable in the morning, my time, that's when more people will come about. But keep hitting the like. Definitely keep hitting the like. Number 58, Axe Cop. Lasted about the same amount of time as Brickleberry, from 2012 to 2015. I'm looking at a picture where he punches this fucking tiger in the forehead, which I think looks hilarious. But it says, based on the webcomic of the same name by creators Ethan Nicole, who was 30 when the show began, and Malachi Nicole, who was 7 when the show began, Axe Cop is about the adventures of an axe-wielding police officer dedicated to unaliving the many bad guys he comes across. Now, the fact that the stories are written by Malachi lends the series an air of playful silliness that you could find anywhere else. Maybe I just need to see a YouTube clip of this, but I can probably see it. It looks kind of funny for a little bit, but never heard of that shit. Number 57, F is for Family. This was created by Bill Burr. Now, you guys know Bill Burr, stand-up comedian from Boston, New England accent heavy. That Bill Burr. Now, F is for Family. I think I might have heard a blurb about this. It was on from 2015 to 2021, and it kind of reminds me of Family Guy. Damn near close to Family Guy. In fact, looking at it, yeah, I'd say it was like some sort of a weird copy. But F is for Family is an animated raunchy comedy series set in the 1970s, which follows the Murphy family's hilarious hijinks. Now, the must-see Netflix original, I need to check that out, because I have Netflix, mostly focuses on the struggles of Frank Murphy, who was voiced by Bill Burr, a gruff yet endearing airport baggage handler, as he deals with the challenges that come with work, family, and life in a tumultuous era. Now, that sounds very similar to Family Guy. So, I guess they might have drawn some inspiration from Family Guy. But it says that F for Family uses familiar tropes that will appeal to fans of a similar adult TV series. It's brutal, honest, can come off as abrasive, but fans of that type of humor will definitely enjoy it. So I think they were just referring Family Guy. Family Guy is not obviously in the 70s, but it does have the dog, the daughter, the son, that same shit. Number 56, Agretzko. From 2018 to 2023. I don't know what the hell. It's an unconventional animated series Netflix was quick to adapt from the original Japanese version, Agretzko, following the relatable yet somehow also completely wild character of Retsuko. She starts out as seemingly mild-mannered red panda with a mundane office job, but it's soon revealed that she copes with the repetitive daily grind by singing her heart out with the death metal karaoke. What kind of stupid shit is this? Not watching that. Absolutely not watching that. Maybe I just, I'm getting too old to start putting things down. Maybe I do need to kind of watch some shit, like give things a chance. I think I need to give more things a chance. I've been always so quick to be like, I'm not watching that. That looks stupid as hell. But I'm definitely not watching Snow White. Not watching animated Snow White. Absolutely not. I don't give a shit. Starting now. Now let's start giving things a chance, but not Snow White. I'm not doing it. That movie is a circus. And what's crazy is that Minecraft is making more than Snow White. And Minecraft in itself, I'm not a big Minecraft fan, but if you adults are going to go see this movie, sit the fuck down and watch the movie. Stop throwing popcorn and shit across the room every time you see Chicken Jockey. I'm like, this is the most virgin shit. And it's not even the kids that's wilding out in those theaters. It's grown-ass men. Sit the fuck down and watch the movie. All right, anyway. Number 55, Ugly Americans. Was only out 2 years. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but I'm going to skip it. Some of the stuff I'm going to skip, all right? If it's stuff that don't even sound vaguely familiar, I will give it the courtesy of telling what the title is, but I ain't going to read all this shit. It's a lot of stuff to go through, and I'm not spending all day reading cartoons. But I will read some that kind of stand out by title, like Gary and His Demons. It's been out since 2018. It's still on the air apparently. Gary and His Demons. It says the hilarious fantasy sitcom Gary and His Demons asks the question of what would happen if the archetypical chosen one didn't care for the position. Now, indeed, the titular aging demon slayer has nothing left to lose and burdened by his chosen one status. Boring. I'm moving to the next one. I don't know what the fuck that is, but if it's still on the air, I guess it's still good, but I'm just going to keep it going. Solar Opposites. Now, this has been on for 3 years. In fact, it's created and animated just the same as Rick and Morty. Now, Justin Roiland, the creator of Rick and Morty, who no longer has anything to do with the show, helped create this show. Same animation style, everything. Created by TV veteran Mike McMahon and Justin Roiland, who created Rick and Morty and Solar Opposites. It has plenty of the same kind of intellectual, absurdist sci-fi humor. for fans to enjoy. It's a sitcom about a family of aliens who move to middle America where they debate whether life is better there or back on the home planet. The fuck is that about? I mean, listen, I don't understand the hype behind Rick and Morty. Now, I've sat there, I've watched a few episodes. I really did, all right? I can't, I don't know, the shorts, when I see like the short videos of Rick and Morty, it's funny. I have to sit there and watch this from the beginning because I don't know if it's that funny. And some of you in the chat or passing by is going to be like, oh, you're fucking stupid. Rick and Morty is one of the funniest, and I'm pretty sure it is. I'm just having a hard time getting into Rick and Morty. Somebody help me out. All right, anyway, I'm going to move right along with number 52, Inside Job. I'm not even going to read that because it's only been on for a year, so I'm going to move right along. Now, this next cartoon, now, for those who are around my age, 40, Captain James, all right, I got you, man. Thank you for stopping by. I always appreciate your support. I know you got to go work. Go do what you got to do, man. All right, so let me see. Is my volume up on this thing? I guess it is now. All right, number 51, Duckman. Again, if you're my age and you grew up in the 90s and you were a 90s kid, Duckman. All right, highly underrated cartoon, Duckman. All right, he was voiced. Excuse me, I bit my tongue a little bit. He was voiced by Jason Alexander. Now, if you guys know Jason Alexander, George Costanza, Seinfeld. Now, Duckman was only out for 3 years, 1994 to 1997. But this was definitely an adult cartoon, and it was on USA Network, which I don't even think exists anymore. But Duckman, all right. USA's network cult classic Duckman, Private Dick / Family Man, might be one of the most underrated animated shows of all time. I totally agree. Totally agree. It's an edgy comedy about a crass, womanizing duck who works as a private eye with his pig sidekick. His name was Cornfeld or something like that, I remember. All while raising a family as a single dad. Now, for those who have fun with crude humor, Duckman couldn't be more of a perfect fit. In a market saturated with animated shows whose humor relies so shallowly on vulgarity that they fall flat on their face, now Duckman feels like a breath of fresh air, even 3 decades after it first aired. Now, the funny thing about this particular show, it was animated by the same people, Klasky and Super, I think, that animated Rugrats. So when you watch Duckman, it looks like a Nickelodeon cartoon. The same animators of Rugrats, Wild Thornberrys. It looks like a regular Nickelodeon cartoon, but when you actually watch it and hear the dialogue, it is nothing like that. So yeah, people were fooled by this shit because it was the same animators, same art style, same everything. Now this next one, number 50, Undone, is only out for 2 years. It does have some very interesting looking animation, but I'm not going to read it. But if you guys ever heard of it, I guess so. Now this next one, Close Enough, only was out for 2 years, and I don't know what the fuck this is. Again, I'm just going to be skipping out of stuff. I'm at least give it the common courtesy to say the title, but that's about it. I'm not going to sit there and read all these cartoons because some of this stuff just... Number 48, Frisky Dingo, from 2006 to 2008, was a cartoon, I guess was adult themed. All right, now, just judging by this thumbnail, I need to see what this is about. It says one of the wildest animated shows that has ever aired on television. Frisco Dingo is about a philandering billionaire playboy who moonlights as a superhero named Awesome X. Wow. Facing his greatest adversary, Killface, he struggles to find balance between his business and his superhero life. So he's basically Bruce Wayne, because this is Batman Bruce Wayne, billionaire, philanthropist, goes out fighting crime at night with no superpowers. That's basically what this shit is. I'm not watching that. Number 47, Hazbin Hotel. Now this is apparently on Prime Video. I don't know what the hell this is about, but I'm going to skip it. This next one, I think, matter of fact... this was the inspiration behind today's episode. The Critic. People, again, I'm blessed to have grown up in the 90s to see some of the shit that has been put on TV. Because if you ever see The Critic, it was a short-lived show, but it was one of the funniest non-South Park-like episodes. Now, a lot of people compared it to The Simpsons, and at one point even thought that Matt Groening, the Simpsons creator, actually made this cartoon when he indeed did not. The Critic. Now, I think the original run was from 94 to 97, but I think it also went into 2001, because here It says 94 to 2001. Now, it was created by Al Jean and Mike Rice. Now, these guys were also involved with The Simpsons. And of course, it's starred and voiced by Jon Lovitz. It says a series that was canceled too soon. The Critic is a sitcom that is centered on the life and experiences of the often sarcastic New York film critic Jay Sherman. The plot follows Jay as he goes through the ups and downs of his career, from reviewing blockbuster films to obscure art house movies. Now, along the way, he meets other interesting city folk, many of whom offer a glimpse into their own imperfect lives. The Critic takes an irrelevant look at the world of film criticism and pop culture, with many of its episodes featuring parodies of well-known movies like Silence of the Lambs, Godfather, more and more and more. There is rumor right now that Jon Lovitz is actually trying to get the original creators of The Critic together to revive this cartoon. Now, how would The Critic work today? I mean, if The Critic was out today and Snow White, I'm pretty sure they would have parodied the hell out of that Snow White. There's so many parody good material out there that if this cartoon was to come back out, it would be perfect. Now, it was at a different time, right? So, PC-isms and all that, it will have to dodge all that shit. It's a whole nother story. All right, but anyway, I'm going to try to invite people on the show as I go along. For people that are stopping by, like Henair Sterling. I'm sorry if I kind of butchered your name. Thanks for passing by. You guys are all free, always free to join the show. Tonight's episode, if you haven't seen the description, we're talking adult cartoons. I'm reading down a list of what's considered some of the best adult cartoons. Right now, I'm on The Critic. Again, you'll have to be my age to remember that cartoon, which last time I checked my analytics, most of my audience is around my age. So if you haven't heard of The Critic, I feel bad for you. Go on YouTube, look it up, or it might be on some streaming service. But yeah, it was a cartoon gone too soon. Now this shit here, this next one, number 45, Mike Tyson Mysteries. The title itself made my brother and me laugh because we thought this was a joke. But this cartoon was mildly popular for a while. It even lasted about 6 years, from 2014 to 2020. Which I guess it was kind of like a parody of Scooby-Doo. In a sense, but it's Mike Tyson, of all people. It says Mike Tyson is one of the most legendary boxers of all time. Now, he's also an iconic cartoon star of Mike Tyson's Mysteries. Ran for 4 delightful, funny, and macabre seasons, following the retired champion, his brainy adopted daughter, and a friendly gay ghost. You can't make this up, a friendly gay ghost. And a mean-spirited talking pigeon. Rest in peace to Norm Macdonald, who voiced this pigeon. And I always thought Norm Macdonald was funny. I'm sorry if you don't think so, but him as the pigeon was funny. As they solve weird mysteries together. Now, the whole thing is essentially a parody of Scooby-Doo, and a phenomenally effective one at that. Now, Mike Tyson Mysteries is one of the best dark comedy shows of the 2000 teens, with a remarkably committed and humorous voice performance by Tyson and a rich ensemble of equally entertaining side characters played by legendary funny people like Norm Macdonald. Yeah, the animation was almost kind of like Scooby-Doo too. We're talking like Hanna-Barbera era. But I caught a few episodes of Mike Tyson's Mysteries, and it shit is pretty funny. It's just stupid because it's not nobody imitating Mike Tyson's voice. It's actually just him talking, and he's got that lisp and that speech impediment of sorts, and it just adds more to the surrealism to the show. Now, this next one. This show has been wrapped up in so much different litigation. I'm shocked at what?
3 bottles.
3 bottles of what? Oh, here it's outside?
And it's in here by the door. You gotta bring it to the door.
Okay, yeah. Water delivery. Damn, he is late. He was supposed to be here like 7:30.
Here earlier, but
maybe. But no, we got water. We have a water cooler.
Yeah.
All right, now back. That was my wife, by the way. Now, this cartoon, this next one, all right? You could call it a cartoon, you could call it an anime, but this cartoon was so controversial. I'm surprised it's not on the top 10 of best adult cartoons. We're talking the Boondocks, people. I'm going to give the Boondocks their flowers. Now, I'm going to harp on Boondocks probably for a little bit because when I discovered the Boondocks, it was in a newspaper. And when I lived in New York at the time, the Boondocks was being published in the Daily News and New York Post. it eventually became a cartoon, but its animation style made it look like an anime. So people were just kind of up in arms about whether or not Boondocks was indeed an anime or was it a cartoon. Hey, Jared, what's going on? Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. It's evening where I'm at, so I'm assuming it's morning where you are. Hey, man, what's up? Today we're talking best animated cartoons. I'm reading down a list right now, courtesy of Collider, and number 45 is the Boondocks. All right, so again, I've discovered the Boondocks in a newspaper, but when I first heard it was coming on TV as an animated series, I was like, ain't no way. This show right here is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Controversy and everything. I mean, yeah, I agree. Boondocks is definitely up there. I'm surprised it's not like on the top 10 of this list, but they put 60 animated cartoons on this list, but Boondocks is the funniest shit. I mean, there were parts that had to be cut, canceled, and everything. But the problem with the Boondocks was not the content, but also the cost of the show. This was an expensive cartoon to make, very expensive. They had to downgrade from a Japanese studio the first season to a Korean studio because the shit was expensive, but nobody really noticed the difference. But and then the last season, because there was only 4 of them, the creator Aaron McGruder kind of stepped away from the show, and then people noticed how much that last season fell off. But anyway, I don't want to harp too much about the Boondocks. I done a show about the Boondocks, I think a long time ago before TikTok. It says Boondocks as if, let me see, when did it last? It went from 2005 to 2014, even though there was only 4 seasons. It took a while to produce an episode. It says, as if any more proof was needed that Adult Swim has for years dominated the adult animation television industry, there's the Boondocks. This uniquely animated action comedy is about brothers Huey and Riley Freeman who experience a culture clash when they leave Chicago to move in with their grandfather in the suburbs. Revealing in its cleverly written and even more cleverly executed social and political satire, the Boondocks is as biting and profound as one would expect. And yes, the Dear Santa episode is hilarious. Also, that Bob Ross episode I kind of like too. It was all great. But even I noticed in the 4th season, it just kind of went downhill. Now, the funny part about the Boondocks for me was when I was in AIT in the military. I'm still in the military. The room that they put me in, someone left a bunch of DVDs, but behold, they left all 4 seasons of the Boondocks DVD in that fucking closet. I still got it. I still got it to this day. But it says, though the show's 3rd and 4th seasons weren't well received as their 2 predecessors, this nevertheless remained one of the most important and fun adult animated shows in modern American TV. Now, they have been advocating for years to get that show back on the air. It has not happened. Aaron McGruder, the creator, kind of really stepped away from the show. John Witherspoon passed away a few years ago, so they wouldn't, even if you revived the show, they wouldn't be a granddad. And then even Uncle Ruckus' character, they tried to make a real life version of the show, and that didn't work out very well. So there was ideas and stuff toyed around to keep the Boondocks alive, but to be honest with you, I don't think the show's ever going to come back, and that's the sad part. Like, how would the Boondocks work in today's environment? You know, with everything that's going on right now, I can only imagine Huey and Riley's character talking about the war in Ukraine, tariffs, President Trump, everything. All the things we're going over right now. I can only imagine that they would, they'll be covering all that. Yeah, and you're right, Jared. With today's society, it would be they would have so much content to work with that if it came out today, it would work. But then again, look, Jared, check it out. Look at South Park, right? Now, South Park has crossed many red tapes. It has cut so much red tape when it came to content. But then again, I don't know. The Boondocks, for a short period of time, definitely cut some red tape, like the Rosa Parks episode with the fried chicken and Martin Luther King being in the show. And then, yeah, it has crossed some serious lines there. I ain't gonna lie. All right, this next cartoon, I stumbled upon this by accident. I don't know how. Big Mouth comes in at number 43. Big Mouth, to me, has got to be one of the funniest shows I've ever seen because it's just unapologetically crude. Period. This show is crude as hell, but it's so much fun watching this. And they just finished up the show because apparently it went from 2017 to 2024. Now, this show is the brainchild of Nick Kroll, right? Andrew Goldberg, Nick Kroll, very Jewish created show. Let's just be realistic to a point, right? But this show here I stumbled upon by accident. I think when I was in Italy, and when I was stationed in Italy, I think that's when I stumbled upon this show. And I don't know. Did they ever come out with all the seasons though? I don't know. It said the show ended in 24, but I don't know. There was supposed to be a new season that came out. I'm not even sure if it came out. I have to go back and I have to check and see. But Big Mouth, man, this cartoon here is just out of control. It says Big Mouth. Now this is definitely an adult show. Big Mouth is an adult animated coming-of-age sitcom and one of Netflix's best original shows that explores and embraces all the weird, completely normal, and totally confusing parts of adolescence. Big Mouth is known for its raunchy and absurdist humor that perfectly complements its openness about sex and the human body. It also benefits from the comedic prowess of some of its featured voices to include John Mulaney, Nick Kroll, Maya Rudolph, and Jordan Peele. It said the sitcom is centered on a group of mostly awkward teenagers who have to deal with puberty. But think of like the talk about the birds and the bees, but it's been animated and drawn in such an awkward fucking way. Dick monsters and all types of other weird things they threw in this cartoon, man. This shit had me rolling so much. There was parts I had to keep rewinding because it was just that funny. Even like watching a montage of it. Now, a lot of people didn't really like Big Mouth. They were like, oh, it's crude, it's nasty. That's the point. Because people never really got the talk about sex, the birds and the bees, not as explicitly as that cartoon put it. No. It was just like, oh, simple, stupid shit. No. This basically was raw and uncut. This next animated series, The Legend of Vox Machina. Never heard of it. It looks corny, moving right along. Number 41, Morale Orel. Okay, I've seen little clips of this show from 2005 to 2009. Looks like some sort of claymation kind of deal. Morale Orel. I'm going to skip over that. Anyway, number 40, Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. For some reason, this cartoon was popular. I don't know why. It looks stupid. I don't know. Harvey Birdman. It's based off the old Birdman cartoons. It says the Adult Swim series and the spinoff of Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Now that was funny. It was basically animated Howard Stern without being too raunchy. Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law is a sitcom that focuses on the happenings with the 7 and 7 law firm. Now the firm's staff is made up of mostly superheroes, who are classic Hanna-Barbera cartoon characters reimagined as legal professionals. So think of Tailspin. Remember when you had Baloo and Shere Khan, but reimagined from the Jungle Book? That's kind of that formula that they used here. With just 39 episodes, it's incredibly easy to binge watch. I'm not binge watching it, but I do remember watching Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and I thought that was an excellent, well, not excellent, but it was a funny little kind of talk show for like I would say it was like in line with teenagers. Like it had real guests on it. Space Ghost was animated, of course, and the guest was real, and he had Brack or whatever that praying mantis shit looked like, or whatever that was. And it was like a late night talk show for teenagers and maybe kids, depending on how parents looked at the show. Number 39, The Venture Brothers. This cartoon's been around for a while. I have heard of it from 2003 to 2018. Not sure what the hell is happening here. It's the beloved Adult Swim series and one of the longest running original shows that revolve around the bumbling but endearing Dr. Thaddeus Rusty Venture and his two sons. The trio find themselves in bizarre and often dangerous situations, encountering a host of eccentric characters and villains. That's it. But this is one of the longest Adult Swim cartoons because the majority of Adult Swim cartoons only lasted 5 to 6, 7, 8 years. This lasted from 2003 to 2018, so we're talking 15 years. This is perhaps the longest running, and I don't think anything else quite surpassed that. This next one, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. This show has been on for I didn't even know this shit was on this long. 20 years, from 2003 to 2023, Aqua Teen Hunger Force has been on the air. Who has been keeping that cartoon on the air? I've seen a couple of cartoons, a couple of episodes of it. I was like, it wasn't my type of thing, but somebody has kept this shit on the air for 20 years. I will give it its flowers. The longest running adult series to date, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, well, that changed. That's definitely the longest. Has created an irreplaceable spot for its brilliantly absurd misadventures centered on three anthropomorphic fast food items. The three roommates, Master Shake, Frylock, and Meatwad, are a dysfunctional trio who are always finding themselves in nonsensical situations. Often next to them are recurring characters like that neighbor Carl, lunar creatures known as Moony Knights, and now I can see why I never watched this shit. But there was a couple of episodes I've seen, and it was okay, but not really my thing. All right, this next show, This World Can't Tear Me Down, 2023. The follow-up to the Italian adult animated drama Tear Along the Dotted Line, This World Can't Tear Me Down, may not be quite as great as its predecessor, but is still more than good enough to be considered one of the best adult cartoons. In it, when an old friend returns to the neighborhood, protagonist Zero Calcary wants to help him find his place back in the world. The series has a perfect balance between dark adult humor, complex character writing, and some really hard-hitting moments of existential dread. Moving right along, that doesn't look like something I'd fucking watch. Number 36, Harley Quinn. It's an animated series that I guess is still on the air. It's been out since 2019. Yeah, I'm not a big Harley Quinn fan. Okay, this next show, Home Movies. Now, this was a very awkwardly animated show for my 90s folks. Home Movies was out from 99 to 2004. Such an odd cartoon. I've stumbled upon it a couple of times, but it's not some shit I'd sit there and like watch. Anyway, it says, even if it's a show that's not talked about, and believe me, this show is not talked about much these days, Home Movies is one of the best shows from the early days of Adult Swim. Uniquely animated and delightfully funny, it's about an ambitious 8-year-old filmmaker who shoots movies in his basement with his two best friends, all while coming to terms with growing up relationships and life in general. I guess that's how I remember. I remember that character did have a camera all the time, but that's as much as I remember about the show. Other than that, it was definitely not something I sat there and I fucking binge watch. Alright, number 34, Castlevania. Now, if you guys know the video game Castlevania, they had an animated series from 2017 to 2021. And then number 33, Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Cyberpunk fan. I never played the game, but that's one. Number 32, The Midnight Gospel. Wait, let me see how much time I got here. Alright, I got about 20 minutes before I had an hour. Again, every show has to be an hour, no matter what. Number 32, The Midnight Gospel, 2020. I don't know what the hell this is, but it looks very similar to Adventure Time. I guess they're kind of sort of related. Let me see if I can invite a few people in. Like I said, as people come by and it says invite, I'm just going to invite. And you guys can choose to be on the show or not. And for now, you guys are getting up for work. Oh, well, look who I got on the show. Aron Red. What's up, Red?
What's up?
Oh, nothing much, man. I'm sitting here talking about adult cartoons and what is considered some of the best adult cartoons. Yeah, yeah. Say what?
As in porn?
No,
no, cartoons.
Yeah, cartoons, man. What the fuck? It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. You're thinking about corn. No, I'm talking cartoons like South Park, Family Guy. You know, those kind of adult cartoons.
Oh yeah, South Park for sure, in my opinion.
Okay, well, everybody loves South Park. I mean, South Park has been on almost 30 years. I can't believe it. In 2 years, South Park would have been on the air for 30 years. I'm just thinking about that right now. It's crazy. Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't know that. When I was in junior high school, 1997, yeah, you guys should know how old I am. I remember when South Park first came out, and it was one of the most talked about shows. Family Guy was out as well. People were talking about South Park. Like, I had all the South Park t-shirts, everything. And the video games came out. It was madness. But yeah, almost 30 years this cartoon has been on. I can't believe it. Anyway, what's going on, Rad? What you got? What's new with you? You haven't been on the show in a little bit. What's up?
Oh, been sick for like a week. Finally, not.
Seems like. And you're still going to work.
Yeah, actually, no. I just left PT. I have an appointment I gotta go to, but I'm stuck in the parking lot because everyone's fucking leaving PT for some reason.
See, that's why I hate it when they moved. That's the one thing I hated about when they moved to the new unit was that parking lot, man. I tell you, you have to strategically park somewhere when it's time to go. Leave. That's it. You're just in out. Other than that, you're waiting there 10. I remember there was a couple of times I waited 10, 15 minutes just to get the fuck out of the parking lot. Yeah.
That's insane. Like, I don't get why everyone's fucking leaving right now. Like, it's PT
They
time.
probably got zonked. Come on, you think everybody does PT? Come on, please. People got probably zonked, appointments. There's all types of different things going on. I doubt everybody has PTE, or no, everybody has PT, but not everybody do PT. You know? Yeah, but number 32 on the list was the Midnight Gospel. I'm skipping over that. It looks stupid. Now this next one, American Dad. American Dad. I can't get into this fucking cartoon. I don't know why. I sat here. I've watched a few. I can't get into it. I just can't. American Dad. It's been out since 2005. It is the first spin-off of Family Guy, because Family Guy had two spin-offs, The Cleveland Show and American Dad. Now, what kills me is how the hell is American Dad still on the air, but not The Cleveland Show? Now, The Cleveland Show wasn't even that funny, but it was better than American Dad. I don't get it. I can't watch the damn show. What's that?
The Cleveland show isn't running anymore?
Hell no, that shit's been off the air for... It's been off the air for a minute now. Yeah, The Cleveland Show. Why do you think he ended up back on Family Guy? Because remember, when The Cleveland Show was on, right, he was barely in Family Guy episodes. And then when Cleveland Show got canceled, he went back to Family Guy. He even made a joke about it. Because they asked him what happened to his show or some shit. And I think he said something like it didn't work out. So he ended up going back to Family Guy. But anyway, American Dad. I can't get into this. It's number 31. The weird and wonderful world of the Smith family is explored in American Dad. This long-running sitcom follows Stan Smith, a CIA agent with some twisted perspectives, his wife Francine, two children, and a talking goldfish, and an alien named Roger. Don't get me wrong. I sat here and watched a few episodes of American Dad. Gave me a couple of chuckles, but this is not some shit like this. Is nothing. It's not as funny as Family Guy, and especially what differentiates this from Family Guy is the lack of cutaway scenes. Family Guy is known for its most random cutaway scenes. American Dad has little to none of that. And I guess it's for a good reason, so people didn't get it too mixed up. All right, number 30, Tear Along the Dotted Line. Don't know what the hell that is. I'm going to skip it. Like I said, it doesn't seem familiar. I'm going to just skip it. Skip it. Number 29 is adult cartoons, The Scavenger's Reign. I don't know what the hell that is. I'm skipping it because, again, it's a lot. Now, number 28, King of the Hill. I could fuck with King of the Hill, all right? It's not the funniest cartoon, but for some reason watching it late at night, especially when I was in school, was definitely a vibe of sorts. Now, King of the Hill, if it wasn't for The Simpsons, they wouldn't be King of the Hill. So King of the Hill, which is on the cusp of a revival, has been, it was on the air from 97 to 2010. Hey, Rad, what you got going on back there? I had like a whole conversation.
Did I?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know if it's me echoing on your end or you got someone talking where you are.
It was my radio.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, you can just turn that down just a smidge. All right, King of the Hill, Rad. You watch King of the Hill?
I used to when I was a kid. I haven't watched it in a minute, though.
I don't know. I used to watch it. There were nights, like Sunday nights, I would watch it before I go to bed. I like King of the Hill. I like it's not too over the top. Its pace is kind of chill. I like it. I mean, it's a spinoff of Beavis and Butthead, obviously. A lot of people don't know that, but it is a spinoff of Beavis and Butthead. It's made by the same guy who created it. Now, it says King of the Hill is one of the best animated TV shows for adults that has a deceptively simple premise. It revolves around the Hill family and their friends who all live and work in Arlen, Texas. Now, the relationship between the everyman Hank Hill and his son Bobby, his wife Peggy, and his friends Bill and Dale, and Boomhauer. The show is known for the witty way it pokes fun at political correctness, the challenges of puberty, and even aspects of midlife crisis. Its unique brand of comedy is still appreciated today, as proven by the fact that there's interest in the potential revival in the near future. Yes, they're trying to bring King of the Hill back out. Not sure how it's going to work nowadays, but working around new PC-isms and what you can and cannot say, and people getting offended over everything. It's gonna be a little bit of work to kind of get around. But King of the Hill, man, that was actually a fun cartoon. I mean, I personally liked it. I still like it. Like if it came on TV, just channel surfing, I'd sit and watch it for real. Number 27, Disenchantment. Now this was created by the same people who created The Simpsons, Matt Groening. Oh, it's actually canceled. Oh, only went from 2018 to 2023. Yeah, I didn't understand this shit. Disenchantment. It looks stupid as hell. Brad, you ever seen that cartoon or even heard of it?
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. This Disenchantment comes in at number 27. It was only out for about 5 years, surprisingly. Matt Groening's Disenchantment quickly became part of the most popular animated series show for adults. Set in the medieval fantasy kingdom of Dreamland, it follows the story of a rebellious princess, whose name is Bean, who lives with alcoholism and a dim-witted elf called Elfo. What the fuck kind of shit is this? A princess with alcoholism is crazy. Crazy word. Nah, fuck that. I never got into that show. When I first heard it came out, I was like, oh, great, another Simpsons spinoff. Boring. All right, number 26, Final Space. Never heard of it. It was out only for about 3 years. I don't know what the hell it is. Looks pretty cartoony. It don't even look like a kid's cartoon. Skipping it. Number 25, Pantheon. Came out in 2022. Never seen it. It looks like almost like an anime.
It was really good. You should watch it.
So you've heard of this show?
I watched it.
Pantheon. All right. So since you've heard of it, I'll read a little bit about it. It's been out since 2022. Pantheon, originally running for one season until AMC canceled it and Prime Video picked it up for a second season. Now, Pantheon is one of streaming's best offerings in the field of adult animation. It's about a young woman who starts getting messages from an unknown number that claims to be her deceased father. Now, while trying to uncover the truth, she instead stumbles upon a larger conspiracy. Okay, that sounds a little dope. It sounds a little adult theme. I get that, but it only lasted one damn season.
Yeah, but
one season. But it's good though, I heard. Maybe I might come across it. I do have Prime Video, so maybe I might come across it. I do need to now that I don't have real cable out here, I need to start utilizing my streaming services a little bit more. I definitely need to. This next show. Now I used to watch this show, Daria. It was one of MTV's first. Well, it wasn't the first because Beavis and Butthead I think was the first animated show for MTV. But Daria, I've watched this a bit. It was from 97 to 2002 during the golden age of MTV before they started putting so many reality TV shows. Matter of fact, that's every time I mention something about reality TV shows, in my mind I'm like, oh, that's an episode. Then when I gotta think of an episode, I'm blank. I gotta start writing shit down. I'm getting old. Anyway, Daria comes in at number 24. Now, Daria is a beloved 90s classic series that's part of many viewers' childhoods, revolving around the life and misadventure of Daria Morgendorffer. The series followed the sarcastic and smart teen's challenging daily life as she struggles with the problems that come with not fitting in her high school. Now, alongside her similarly jaded best friend, Daria sighs, rolls her eyes, and scoffs at dim-witted people who surround them. Yeah, I like Daria. I that was a cool cartoon to me, and it lasted a little bit, but didn't last very long though. But it was definitely one of the best cartoons or shows on MTV. Number 23, Monkey Dust. Nope, never heard of this. Came out for 2 years, and it doesn't even seem interesting. We're gonna skip that. Number 22, Metalocalypse, whatever the fuck you want to call this. From 2006 to 2013. Skipping that. Love, Death, and Robots from 2019. Oh, I've never heard of that. But Netflix absolutely struck gold with their animated. Whoa, where you going, Paige? God damn it. Hold on. No.
I'm gonna have to leave. I have an appointment I have to get to.
All right, well, shit. I appreciate you stopping by, Rad. Of course, thank you. Go ahead and take care of what you need to take care of. I'm doing a show tomorrow. I'm doing a roundtable tomorrow, so you get a chance, see if you can stop by. Other than that, man, I'll catch you later.
All right, I'll catch you later.
All right, peace out. All right. This next show, what the fuck is this shit called? Oh yeah, Love, Death, and Robots. Now it says Netflix absolutely struck gold with their animated anthology series Love, Death, and Robots. Now, in delivering some visionary animated short stories that generally resonate with more adult audience, while there are some live action segments and shorts, now Love, Death, and Robots is largely known for its ambitiously diverse animated shorts that touch on some mature subject matter that can be surprisingly gory. But it doesn't look like that type of show. It looks like some innocent little kid robot show. I don't know, I guess that's what gets people, I guess, kind of fool you. Gotcha. Robot Chicken now. Okay, Robot Chicken. Going back to Adult Swim. Robot Chicken was like, what, 15 minutes long? It wasn't even like a whole half hour of short segments. Some of the shit was pretty funny on Robot Chicken. Now, it lasted damn near, well, shit, no, it lasted 20 years. If I'm looking at this right, yeah, it lasted a whole 20 years, Robot Chicken, created by Seth Green. You guys know Seth Green. He does the voice of Chris in Family Guy. All right, Adult Swim sketch-based comedy show Robot Chicken is one of the most popular and influential in its genre. Now, pop culture references fly thick and fast, and these stop-motion animated stories poking fun at absolutely everything within their reach, from movies to television to comic books. Try to see if I can get some more people on the show. Let's try to see who I can get on here. But yeah, like all shows of its kind, Robot Chicken has its fair shares of ups and downs. Some sketches admittedly tend to fall flat, but when the good ones hit, they really hit. Yeah, there was some shit that was pretty funny. And it's kind of like you're sitting there channel surfing, and all these different shows come up with their different shorts. That was funny. Some of the shit did kind of fall flat, was kind of a miss. But some of the other shit that they had on there was pretty funny. So I will say that. Robot Chicken is funny as shit. All right, number 19, Mike Judge presents Tales from the Tour Bus. Only lasted 1 year. Now, Mike Judge, again, pops up on here. He's the creator of Beavis and Butthead. He's the creator of, King of the Hill. I never even heard of this shit. I didn't even think he ever came out with some shit like this. Tales from the Tour Bus. It says Cinemax's only animated series ever is one by Mike Judge, a legend of an adult animated television. It's called Mike Judge Presents Tales from the Tour Bus. And it's a music docuseries about the raucous adventures of musicians like Jerry Lee Lewis and Johnny Paycheck, told by those who knew them best. Oh, I get it. Somebody tells a story, and then there's animated reenactments. I think that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, though, the show only lasted about a year, so that sucks. Number 18, Bob's Burgers. This show took a little bit to warm up to, and I'm surprised it's even on this long. But this was kind of like The Simpsons. And again, it was one of those cartoons somewhat influenced by The Simpsons. And it's still on the air, people, since 2011. I remember when it came out, and I was like, what the fuck is Bob's Burgers? This shit ain't gonna last long. Fooled the hell out of me. The shit is still on the air. I give it its flowers. Fucking Bob's Burgers. Now, Bob's Burgers revolves around the entertaining daily activities of the Belcher family, who own a burger restaurant, not a chain. Created by Lauren Bocher, the series introduced audiences to the lovable, hilarious, and often relatable family comprised of Bob, a third-generation restaurateur, and his wife Linda, and their 3 children, Tina, Jean, and Louise. Now, Bob's Burgers is well-loved, in part due to the well-written characters who learn important lessons about running a business. Maintaining relationships and getting away with wacky antics. Of course, what holds it all together are the shared love for food and unique burgers. Yeah, it has its moments. I mean, I sit and watch it. Now, I haven't seen every single episode. I mean, I catch it when I can. It's a little difficult where I'm at right now, and I don't have cable TV, but I have Prime Live TV. So I just got to catch it whenever I possibly can catch it. But Bob's Burgers is not a bad show. It's better than half the shit I read on this list. Like, whatever this next show is, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. What the fuck? It looks like some ripoff of Sesame Street, and which is why I'm going to skip it. It came at number 17. I'm skipping it. All right. Hey, I'm in the world. Had an early start. Oh, yeah, I know. It's like 8 o'clock. I'm surprised you're even up this early, considering it's got to be like 8 o'clock out there. This is definitely not within your realm of things. Up this early. Sheesh. Number 16, Adventure Time, Fiona and Cake. Never seen Adventure Time. I've heard some things about it. Never really cared for the show. Now, this next show, my wife binge watched the entire show. Archer. From 2009 to 2023, I've seen some episodes with her. I will say this is a funny ass show. It's got some really interesting animation, very dark, very Western animation. The guy that does Archer's voice is the same guy that does the voice for Bob and Bob's Burgers. Yeah. Cool. Multi-talented dude. And he sounds the same in both. And they both shows cross-reference each other, which makes it even funnier. Archer has provided adult audiences with the animated spy adventure they didn't know they wanted. Mixing in some lovably dopey comedy that comes directly from its titular spy, the show follows the antics of secret agent Sterling Archer alongside his co-workers who have become iconic in their own right. As they work for a spy agency with questionable clients, the group of bumbling characters showcase a humorous side to their profession. It's weird because, again, he does the same voice for both Bob and Archer, so it's like a spy show of Archer. And it was these conspiracies saying that Bob was originally Archer and such and such and such. You know how we are. When it comes to these cartoon conspiracies, I should know because I did a whole episode on them. Number 14, Smiling Friends. I never heard of that shit. Oh, I got 5 more minutes, so that means I could breeze through some of this shit. Smiling Friends. All right, I'll read it. I'll give it a chance. It might be recent, but Adult Swim's Smiling Friends is already one of the network's biggest cult classics. Now, it follows the employees of a small company who are dedicated to bringing happiness to a bizarre yet colorful world. Simple yet incredibly vibrant, both in terms of animation and narrative, this is the perfect show for those who like series with tones and humor similar to Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Again, I wasn't a big fan of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, so no. I guess I'll never get a chance. You know, earlier in the show, I was like, man, I gotta start giving these shows a chance. But there's some shows and some shit you look at and be like, I'm really not gonna give that a chance. And then you look at another show, you're like, I might give that one a chance. All right, number 13, Primal. Been out since 2019. It was created by the creator, same person who created the Powerpuff Girls, Genndy Tartakovsky. Yes, who can imagine? By 2009's viewers were already very familiar with Genndy Tartakovsky's unique brand of visually striking, often stylishly violent animation. Even then, however, he managed to take everyone by surprise with this incredible quality of his prehistoric adventure show. Primal, which follows a caveman and a dinosaur as they work together to survive in a dangerous world that wants to eat them. Pretty simple thing happening with the show. Just not my thing. Number 12, Cowboy Bebop. Now, I could have sworn this has been on longer than 1 year. That is insane. Don't let this recent unsuccessful remake deter you from checking out the original Cowboy Bebop animated series. The critically acclaimed neo-noir sci-fi show revolves around a motley crew of bounty hunters who travel through space in pursuit of dangerous criminals, masterfully combining Western and noir elements alongside stylish action and jazz-heavy soundtrack. I remember when Cowboy Bebop was around and people were just up in arms about the show, but at the same time, I never got into it. So we're going to move right along. Number 11. Again, I mentioned this show earlier. Rick and Morty. I don't know how anybody could get into this show. People who are passing by, watching or whatever, which I have no viewers right now. That's sad. Anyway, Rick and Morty. I never got into it. It comes in at number 11, and it's been around since 2013. A lot of behind-the-scenes controversy with the creator, and the show still continues. Since premiering on Adult Swim back in 2013, Rick and Morty has absolutely taken the world by storm with its cynical approach to its hilarity and wild sci-fi adventures to become one of the most prolific modern adult animated series. It follows the wild misadventures of a mad scientist named Rick Sanchez and his grandson Morty Smith, who was initially an awkward and nervous wreck. Yeah. Like I said, I've seen a few episodes. But at the same time, I can't get into this. I know people are like, oh, you gotta watch Rick and Morty. You gotta watch Rick and Morty. And I'm like, oh, I'll watch it. And I try to watch it, and I can't get into it. I just don't. I don't know. I gotta maybe start from episode 1. I'm trying, people. I am trying to watch Rick and Morty. Give me a break. All right, number 10. We're down to the last top 10 of what is considered the best adult animated cartoons ever made. Number 10, Beavis and Butthead. People. Mike Judge has made it on this list 3 times with that weird musical shit, King of the Hill, and now Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead was definitely the premier adult cartoon right before South Park, right? It was disheveled for a while and it came back. I don't know if they're still making new episodes of Beavis and Butthead, but I can tell you, I don't think I've seen them. Anyway, it's been around since 1993. Beavis and Butthead is a legendary animated series that follows the titular duo, 2 teenagers who love to listen to metal, music, and absolutely hate authority figures. Instead of paying attention in school, the 2 protagonists spend their days making crass jokes, pulling off pranks, and generally just hanging around. What made this show so awesome was that not only did you get an animated series, you got a music show. You got a video show, because there's always a segment where they'll sit there and they'll watch videos and they'll sit there and critique these real music videos. Sometimes they'll sometimes they'll change the channel, like change away from the video to a new video, or they'll sit there and listen to it and critique it. So that's what made that show so awesome. And also helped musicians get their names out there with videos and past videos with Beavis and Butthead, because everybody watched it. With its offbeat and irreverent humor, Beavis and Butthead is a series that captured slacker culture in the 90s, making it an unexpected instant hit for fans. This celebration of crude humor and teenage delinquency still resonates with mature viewers today. So much that a second revival from Paramount Plus showcased even more of their antics. Now, as long as there are teenagers more interested in hanging out than studying, Beavis and Butthead will continue to find a dedicated fan base. Not to mention, they had a full feature-length movie, Beavis and Butthead Do America. I've watched the hell out of that movie. It was funny at the time, different, right before South Park came out too. But yeah, it's still around very much. Number 9, Invincible. I've seen some clips of this show, Invincible. This is a very visceral, violent cartoon. If you want to call it a cartoon, but it's not an anime. People get caught up with the terms cartoon and anime. It's kind of anime-esque in art style. But I've seen a few clips of Invincible, and let me tell you, this is some violent ass shit. It's been out since 2021 and it's still in production. With Invincible, Prime Video capitalized on the recent success of movies and TV shows, subverting the superhero genre and its usual tropes. Based on the comics of the same title, it's about a superpowered teenager whose father is the most powerful superhero in the planet, Omni-Man. Now, of course, Omni-Man is so popular, you can find him in Mortal Kombat. And he's a perfect addition to the game, with some stunning animation that doesn't hold back on gore, a thrilling story that takes jaw-dropping twist after jaw-dropping twist, and a great ensemble of characters, including some really formidable villains like Omni-Man. Invincible is all that adult superhero shows should be in modern times. I give it that, and I gotta sit there and actually watch this shit. They rated it a 10 out of 10. Number 8, Samurai Jack. You know, at first I looked at Samurai Jack, I did not think it was an animated show. I mean, not an animated show. I didn't think it was like an adult themed show. I honestly, I didn't see it. You know what I mean? I did not see this as an anime show, but I mean, as an adult show. I'm sitting here tripping over my damn words. I'm trying to multitask, do some other shit. Trying to get more people on the show. I know it's early, and this is usually a really tough time slot for me because, well, when I do this, I can't really do this in the day except the weekends because I got to work. So this is a very hard time slot to get my usual audience. So it's a pretty dead show. Anyway, number 8, the show still goes on. Samurai Jack from 2001 to 2017. I didn't even think it lasted that long. For kids of the early 2000s, Samurai Jack was the kind of animated series that made them feel like they were watching their first adult show. Genndy Tartakovsky, now the same guy again, Powerpuff Girls, same animation style. Let me see. His visionary animation style brought viewers into a beautifully realized samurai journey, full of dark imagery and characters, as well as some vivid, fast-paced action. Now, Samurai Jack is possibly one of Cartoon Network's most mature shows of all time. Again, I couldn't even get into Samurai Jack. Don't get me wrong, they had a video game. He was big at the time, you know, and of course that theory of him being Professor X because, you know, he looks kind of like Professor X from the Powerpuff Girls, and it's made by the same Genndy Tartakovsky guy. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't see the connection. Next one, The Blue Eye Samurai. It's been around since 2023, and it's been on Netflix. It says, on plenty of occasions, Netflix has proved to be king when it comes to modern adult animation. But even with the high standard, it has been a while since audiences have been treated to a show like Blue Eye Samurai, which tells the story of a young warrior who, driven by a dream of revenge against those who made her an outcast, cuts her way through a bloody path towards her destiny. Sounds pretty cool. Never seen it. In fact, never even heard of it till now. But I might have to check it out. Rated a 9 out of 10. It's got to be good. Number 6, Arcane, or R something. Been out since 2021. It's based on the world and characters of the massive video game franchise League of Legends. The groundbreaking animated series Arcane is a mesmerizing journey into the vibrant but corrupt metropolis that is Piltover, and the seedy city that lurks beneath Zaun. In the midst of its endless cycle of violence, and two sisters, Vi and Jinx, who embark on hopelessly different paths and find themselves going against each other. Looks pretty cool, just not my thing. All right, I'm getting down to almost the next 5. Now, we're here. Last 5 cartoons. I read through almost 60 of these. All right, now, again, prior to, I did not see this list of what's going to be the number 1. All right, to be fair, all right, there's a few cartoons I've read, adult cartoons, that I've already read that should be in the top 10. Boondocks, especially. Boondocks was way up in the 40s, I think. That should have easily been top 10. Futurama.
Boondocks was the best.
You've never even seen the Boondocks.
Yes, I have. Boondocks was the best.
Okay, my wife says Boondocks is the best, but I don't ever recall her watching the Boondocks. But
Hello, do you remember I'm older than you?
babe, what do you even know what the how old do you think the Boondocks is?
I'm older than you by 6 years.
What does that mean? You could be older than me.
That just because you haven't seen me watch it, that doesn't mean I never watched it like you would.
Okay, she says she's watched the Boondocks. I'll leave it at that. Number 5, Futurama. All right, and this cartoon came out when I was in my last year of junior high school. It's a Simpsons spinoff, like that Disenchanted bullshit that came out, but this was much better. Now, Futurama is funny. I think it's been revived now. I don't know how it is now, but the earlier episodes was definitely funny. A massively popular animated sci-fi sitcom, Futurama follows the incredible story of immature yet kind-hearted pizza delivery boy Fry, who accidentally falls into a cryogenic chamber and wakes up 1,000 years into the future. Then, there, he becomes close friends with iconic characters like Leela and foul-mouthed cigar-smoking, heavy-drinking robot named Bender. The series revolves around their work for an interplanetary delivery company, which allows them to meet even more zany characters from across the universe.
What about the Jetsons?
The Jetsons is not considered an adult cartoon.
Oh.
Although I personally think the Jetsons is more adult than anything, because the Jetsons is basically the Flintstones in space, and the Flintstones is basically the Honeymooners, minus the fact that the Honeymooners, Ralph and Alice, did not have kids in the show, but Fred and Wilma did. But yeah, Futurama, I don't know why it's on the top. I guess it deserves its place. I give it its flowers. All right. Now, this next one, Family Guy. People, Family Guy, believe it or not, you may not, a couple of fun facts about Family Guy. It was canceled twice before. Yes, Family Guy was canceled twice, and it was almost canceled permanently when the creator Seth MacFarlane was on one of the hijacked 9/11 planes. And he wasn't on it. He was bound to get on one of those planes, and I think he missed the plane. Had he been on one of those planes, we would not have Family Guy today. This show has dodged so much controversy on Fox. It's amazing Fox even still have it on here, on their network, because again, it's comedic gold. And they canceled it twice. Seth MacFarlane almost passes away permanently, and the show is still around.
Family Guy was hilarious.
Family Guy, the funniest thing about Family Guy, I swear, is the cutaway scenes. Because the cutaway scenes are so random, extremely random, and that's what makes it so fucking funny. A lot funnier than American Dad. American Dad is boring. Alright, Seth MacFarlane's beloved adult animated sitcom Family Guy revolves around the Griffins and their wild antics. Now, set in the fictional city of Quahog, Rhode Island, The series has become popular thanks to its unapologetic commentary and biting satire about American pop culture. Its dysfunctional family members, Peter, Lois, Meg, Chris, Stewie, and their pet dog, Brian, have also become beloved fan favorites. Now, talented voice actors behind the show include McFarlane himself, Alex Borstein, Mila Kunis, Seth Green, and Mike Henry. With jarring, violent, controversial episodes and adult-oriented jokes in most of Family Guy's funniest episodes, there's no questioning that the series is meant for younger viewers. Now, isn't meant for younger viewers, I'm sorry. Adults will be able to better understand and enjoy its gut-busting, metafictional gags that often poke at fun at the entertainment industry. Again, Family Guy is not for kids. The fact that it even got away with the shit that it did on regular network television tells a lot. All right, I don't think Family Guy is going anywhere anytime soon. I need to do an episode on the longest running cartoons, but we all know that's going to go to The Simpsons. The Simpsons has been on the air since 1989, people. Actually, if you want to be technical, it's been on since 1987. There was a little known show called The Tracy Ullman Show, and The Simpsons started as shorts on that show before 2 years later becoming its own thing, if we really want to be technical. But the overall full-length Simpsons itself has been around since 1989. It's crazy. But Family Guy is definitely a funny-ass adult cartoon. Number 3, BoJack Horseman. Now, I've heard some things about this shit. I've never seen it, but it was on for 4 seasons, roughly about 5-6 years. For 6 seasons, BoJack Horseman has been a popular animated series for adults, though it's through its delightful dark humor and deep exploration of its titular, washed-up actor voiced by William Arnett. Now, as the series has delved deeper into the life of BoJack Horseman in each episode, as he tries to make a comeback in his acting career, it's continued to not only explore relevant social issues, but also the depression and addiction that BoJack lives with.
I love you.
Love you too, hon. This is a horse we're talking about. Just so that you guys are a little bit clear on this. This is a horse. I've never seen BoJack Horseman. I've heard some things about it. I never hear people like, "Oh, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it." Never watched it. Maybe I might come across it. It's on Netflix, I think. A lot of these adult cartoons are either on Netflix, Prime Video, or in some cases like Family Guy and American Dad. They're on regular network television. All right, people, we're down to the last 2 on the list of what's considered the best adult cartoons of all time, according to Collider.com. Number 2, South Park.
South Park was hilarious.
Why is South Park number 2? I have not seen number 1 yet, so I am dying to see what number 1 is. And I think I already have an idea. Number 2 is South Park, really? South Park is number 2 on the best adult cartoons? Ed, Ed and Eddie is not an adult cartoon. Not by a long shot. There are some very small adult themes, but it is definitely not an adult cartoon. So this cartoon, South Park, is number 2. Number 2. Been around since 1997. Almost 30 years this shit has been on. Almost 30 years. Now, South Park, created by Matt and Trey. No list of pivotal adult animated series would be complete without Matt Stone and Trey Parker's groundbreaking animated television series. Set in the titular Colorado town, the show is centered on 4 young boys, Stan, Kyle, Eric, and Kenny, and their wacky experiences. Since its debut back in 1997, South Park has been one of the earliest and most iconic showings of animation for adults with its raunchy comedy and ability to tap into what's happening into the world, which often has under fire for controversy it creates. Now, South Park unapologetically continues to push the boundaries in its parody and comedy, and is a big reason why the series is still a big hit with adult viewers. It also has its finger on the pulse, parodying or commenting on contemporary issues at breakneck speeds, largely thanks to how quickly its episodes are written and produced. Do you know that each episode of South Park is produced? They have to produce the season in about... there's a documentary they have on Netflix. They make these episodes so damn fast. Now, when South Park first came out, I think every episode, it took 6 months to make an episode. Because remember, the original South Park episodes, or at least the first episode, was made out of construction paper. So they had to take this painstakingly time to animate every single piece of construction paper that they had to cut out and shit. Now the episodes are done so quickly. they can produce whole seasons damn near in a month. You know, with computer technology, they don't need to sit there and use construction paper anymore. They can just sit there and animate it on the on the computer. But yeah, it's amazing how fast they manage to do these episodes. Now, the moment you guys have been waiting for, I want to know again. I'm telling you, I did not see what was the number one on this list prior to, but I'm gonna find out if South Park is not the number one adult animated show, then what is? And the answer is, drum roll. The number one, according to Collider, animated cartoon is, and I think I already have an idea what this shit is. The fucking Simpsons.
Didn't I say something?
No, you did not. You didn't even say what. You just mentioned some other cartoons I mentioned. The Simpsons is the number one adult animated show of all time. Okay. I kind of get why, because that whole list of animated shows would not exist if it wasn't for The Simpsons. The Simpsons is not exactly what you think. When this show dropped in 1989, this was seen as an adult show. The themes, the dialogue, all that stuff was ahead of its time, and parents took notice of this shit, especially when Bart said shit like "eat my shorts." Now, of course, nowadays saying "eat my shorts" is lame, right? Back then, that was seen more of an obscene thing to say, because it was basically like Bart saying "kiss my ass," but instead he was saying "eat my shorts," and parents did not quite like that. In fact, some parents didn't even allow their kids to wear Simpsons t-shirts back then, because it was that type of show. Like, a lot of people don't look at The Simpsons as a adult animated show, but it is, and right now it's number one. It's considered the number one adult animated show of all time. The Simpsons, people. And of course, I'm going to tell you one reason why The Simpsons is yellow, according to the creator Matt Groening, why he made The Simpsons yellow. I'll reveal that in a minute. But number one is The Simpsons. Let me read. Hold on, I'm skipping this. The longest running adult animated show series created by Matt Groening. Hey, Linz, what's going on? Thank you for joining the show. You caught me almost pretty much at the tail end, but tonight's episode is about what's considered the best adult animated show of all time. Right now, it's number one is The Simpsons. It's considered the number one adult animated show. It says, the longest running American adult animated series created by Matt Groening needs no introduction. The Simpsons has entertained fans for decades with its titular family wacky antics, and everyone knows the unique characters Homer and Marge, Bart, Lisa, and even Maggie have become. With hundreds of episodes spanning a wide variety of storylines and settings, not to mention movies and everything else they did, The Simpsons has something for everyone. Now, the mature humor and occasional violence make it obvious that the series isn't for kids, especially considering some themes that explore like alcoholism, crime, and parental neglect. The show initially started as a parody or critique of the typical consumerist American family, but has evolved to become much more than its initial premise over the years. It's the genre-defining animated sitcom for the ages, and one that will hopefully continue for years to come. Now, as promised, why are The Simpsons yellow? Well, according to the creator, Matt Groening, he said he made them yellow so that when you watch TV and you're channel surfing and you see these yellow characters, the color alone attracts you to watch The Simpsons. And it worked. Because imagine it's 1989, 1990, and you're flipping the channels, and you watch all these other cartoons and shit, but then you see these yellow people on your TV, and you're like, what is that? Oh, wow, this is something. It's The Simpsons. They're yellow. That's what attracts you. Now, oddly enough, the Asian characters in the show are more of a white color and stuff like that. But that's a whole nother story. But that's the reason why The Simpsons is yellow. So, listen. I know a lot of people will probably be like, well, how is The Simpsons number one? You have to understand one thing. There wouldn't be a South Park. There wouldn't be a Family Guy. They wouldn't be American Dad. They wouldn't be Daria. They wouldn't be any of these shows except without The Simpsons. Every show, a cartoon before that. Remember, I said, I think personally, from the gate, that the cartoons was always for adults. if you go back to the early days of Looney Tunes, Bugs and Daffy, Elmer Fudd, shooting at each other, doing things, those are always adult cartoons. But somewhere between the 60s and the 80s, cartoons became more for kids. Prior to The Simpsons. Then you reach The Simpsons, and it opened a whole jar. It showed the world that cartoons aren't just for kids. Tricks isn't just for kids. Like video games is not just for kids. When video games came out, everybody said, "No, video games is for kids. No grown ass man should be playing video games." Guess who's playing video games more than ever? Adults. All right. So The Simpsons is considered the greatest adult cartoon of all time. And now I see why. Because realistically speaking, none of these other cartoons would exist without it. All right, now I think IGN had a list. I'm gonna see what they said on their list, but they only have a list of 25, and I'm not even going to read all that shit. I'm just gonna kind of breeze through what they consider IGN 25 best adult cartoon TV series. Number 25, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Number 24, Daria. That was on the list as well. Number 23, The Boondocks. Number 22, The Tick. That is funny. The Tick did not end up on the other list. Not only did they come out with an animated version of The Tick, they came out with a live-action show of The Tick starring Patrick Warburton. That was a little bit more bizarre than the cartoon itself, and I am quite surprised. That's a core memory. I'm surprised The Tick did not make the other list. All right, number 21. Ren and Stimpy. People, how did Ren and Stimpy not make it on the top 21 list? I didn't even think about that shit till now. Ren and Stimpy
I thought Ren and Stimpy was a child.
See, my wife thought that Ren and Stimpy was never for kids. Nickelodeon was duped into thinking the show was for kids. That's another story. And what's going on, Captain James? I see you back. You got me at the right time. We're almost done with the show, but I'm reading over some bonus content. But no, Ren and Stimpy was not on the list of the top 60, but it was on the list for IGN. Now, here's the funny part about Ren and Stimpy. When Nickelodeon picked up Ren and Stimpy, they thought this was a kid's cartoon. All right? What they did was they gave the creator complete control on what this cartoon is. And, Nickelodeon was already getting pissed at the idea that the shows that they ordered were late. Not to mention some of the content the show had was getting Nickelodeon in some hot water. So Ren and Stimpy was never for kids, but when adults had their kids watch it, they thought it was.
Sexual cartoon.
No, it's not. It's an adult cartoon.
Yeah, it was a sexual cartoon.
It had so many suggestive themes that flew over a lot of parents' heads at first. Because looking at the cartoon, you look at these, the Chihuahua and this cat, you don't think very much about them. And then you realize, oh shit, why is he doing that to Stimpy or whatever? And you're like, okay, you can't watch this. But yeah, Ren and Stimpy. Number 20, Samurai Jack, which was on the list. Number 19, Gravity Falls. Never got into that shit. Number 18, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Number 16, obviously, Beavis and Butthead. I agree. Number 15, Adventure Time. Also made it on this list as well. Number 14, SpongeBob SquarePants.
That was funny.
No. SpongeBob is definitely an adult cartoon. I don't care what anyone says. SpongeBob has more adult themes and jokes and innuendos than anything I've seen. In fact, I think personally, SpongeBob is definitely an adult cartoon. But the funny part is, on that list of 60, SpongeBob didn't even make it on the list. But SpongeBob, I think, is definitely an adult show. And it's also because more adults watch SpongeBob than kids. I swear to God. Like, where I worked at, my coworkers shit quote SpongeBob all the time. And it goes to show that adults very much watch SpongeBob. Yeah, number 13, King of the Hill. Absolutely agree. Number 12, the Ventura Brothers. That was on the other list too. Followed by number 11, Bob's Burgers. Number 10, Animaniacs. People, that didn't even make the other list. Animaniacs is definitely an adult cartoon. But see, here's the thing. It's kind of like a gray area with Animaniacs because it's very much... Yeah, I guess you could say it as an adult cartoon because some of the shit they say on there, it flies over a kid's head very easily. But it's very relatable for adults. And I think they did revive the cartoon, and I think it's still on, or maybe not. I'm not sure. But when they came back out with it, I wasn't too much of a fan. It's not like the original. Number 9, BoJack Horseman. Yep, that was on the other list. Robot Chicken, number 8. Number 7, Archer. Yep, I am. Number 6, Family Guy. Number 5, Futurama. Hold on. Oh shit! Oh no! What did I do? What did I do? Oh shit! I just did some dumb shit. Okay, woof. Did I stop? I want to see if I stop. Nope, recording's still going. Thought I stopped my stuff. Woof, that was scary. All right. You gotta be careful with that. I gotta give me a mouse. Number 3, South Park. Number 2, Rick and Morty, and number 1, The Simpsons. I guess there's no doubt that The Simpsons is the best adult cartoon because it's number 1 on this list too. Because again, The Simpsons have to crawl for all these other cartoons to walk. That goes without saying. Simpsons, man, I got, one day I challenged myself. There's over 600 episodes of The Simpsons, and I have to challenge myself to watch the very first episode up to the current. A lot of Simpsons fans argue and say that after season 11, the show fell apart. It wasn't the same Simpsons no more. And it seemed like it. Of course, the animation got better, the budget got better, but then, when they cut Apu is no longer in the show, and then other cast members are not there. Season 11, I guess, was like the golden age of The Simpsons between season 1 and season 11. Now they're on like 36, I think, or some shit like that. There's a lot of seasons on the show. And they don't look like they're letting up anytime soon. They're just still going. They're going to wait until one of the main cast, the voice actors, pass away, and then that's it, maybe. But I think I personally think The Simpsons should end. I think it's ran its course way too long. I think it's time to pass the torch. You got cartoons like SpongeBob. Like, we're talking cartoons that have been out for like 20 years. SpongeBob, Family Guy, American Dad, South Park. These cartoons are catching up to The Simpsons, but Simpsons don't seem like they're letting themselves go anytime soon. So, yeah. Simpsons, man. All right, folks, look, we're wrapping up the show. Got almost 4,000 likes. Captain James, thanks for the assist, man, coming back in on the show. I appreciate everybody. Captain James 994 is the executive producer, co-host, and creator of the TikTok version of the Daily Mind podcast. Now, let me remind you, if you're new to this show, all right, if you're new, fairly new, and sometimes you might miss these streams or whatever, the episodes are available on Spotify. Or wherever you listen to podcasts. The stream itself, I'm uploading the episodes to my my YouTube page, Daily Mind Podcast. I have an email. You can email me at thedailymindpodcast@gmail.com if you got got any suggestions for an episode. Like, even I encourage so much talk in the chat on the show, like giving me ideas of what you want me to talk about on the show or whatever the case is. Just anything. All right, I'm all over the place. The show is rapidly expanding. The show's been around for almost 3 years. The TikTok version has been on since October, and there are now almost 480 episodes of this show. So you can go back and find me on any platform, and you got so much stuff to listen to. And a lot of the latest shows, especially the TikTok versions of the show, has been hilarious, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Anyway, thank you everybody for stopping by. Linz, Captain James, Brad, everybody, and then Wyatt Smunk 26. I see you down there. I appreciate you stopping by as well. And just everybody else I had a chance to try to invite. If you didn't get a chance to get on the show, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, tomorrow will be a show, The Roundtable. The Roundtable is no particular topic whatsoever. We just talk about whatever and anything. And the show can get really crazy sometimes because I have key people on there, like all my co-hosts, guests, just my regulars. Everybody's always on this show. We just talk about any and everything. All right. And that's tomorrow. Meanwhile, everybody have a good night. It is 9:30 where I'm at. It's getting late. The neighbors probably hear me and they're probably pissed. And we will do this again next time. Captain James, I'll see you tomorrow. Come by for the round table for a little bit. Stick around, have some fun. You know how this shit goes. All right, everybody, have a good night. See you later. Peace out. Ciao. Oh, this shit is so annoying. I just seem to can't get off this shit the way I want to get off it.